Let's play a game, a circuit to your brain. Your soul online will turn back time and take away the pain. I shared a secret, you wanted more. I've seen your sickness, I've got the cure. Your own existence is on the line. We'll save your soul and all we need is your mind. It's not like we have other options. Submit or succumb to the virus. There's no other way you'll survive this. Let's play a game. The faithful sect awarded death. Your work was not in vain.
Ain't nobody stopping. Ain't nobody stopping.
Oh no! Brother, I gotta bring us down from the air. It did it again.
No. What did you do?
No, it's when we're coming in and out of screen share. It's moving everything. And
are we live?
We are live right now.
We're live. We're live. So, guys, tonight is going to be a lot more of an easygoing atmosphere. We are so thankful that we don't have to cover the Church of Satan tonight. We're going to be putting forth some evidence tonight, which we think that, Jason first identified what very well could be the sign of the white horse rider with the bow coming on the new moon on the 5th of December, with the moon actually as the symbol of the bow. And what we find interesting about this parallel is that in the book of Enoch and a couple of other extra-canonical books, now the Cave of Treasures, it speaks of before the flood, the rainbow itself was turned upside down. So it was an arch or bow in the sky.
Hey, brother, I'm going to ask you to speak up just a little bit. Otherwise, I'm going to...
I'll have to bring my camera in.
Well, no, you don't have to do that.
What? I mean, are we on camera?
Yeah, we're on camera.
Okay, you want me to speak up? So yeah, the bow was actually the rainbow, and it was shaped facing the people here on Earth, all the people that were destroyed when the flood happened, the great deluge. So what was interesting about this sign is that the moon itself is actually portraying that bow as the sight from the white horse rider as it sets, and this is happening after an eclipse in over Antarctica, right?
Yes, an eclipse. The solar eclipse is coming up December 4th. It's over Antarctica. And if you look at the path of where this is going to be visible, it doesn't look like it's really visible from anywhere. Like, you'll see little partial eclipse, but when you see those types of maps where it shows just a little bit of partial, people are not able to pick that out. Not by eye, and maybe with super good zoom, you're going to be able to see just a little bit of a sliver. For the most part, all the places that we consider to be inhabited are not going to see this.
Yeah. And this is one that, a second one type of this eclipse, we had one 7 years ago over the Arctic on the other side of the map. So some other things that we're going to be getting into tonight. Jason did a great job today. He uploaded a collection of older videos, and you did a really funny intro. I enjoyed that. We all needed a good laugh. We're going to go through a little bit of the timeline of before Behind the Curve or Beyond the Curve documentary was out. There was already an attempt to destroy the Flat Earth Truth movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then after that, we're going to get into a little bit more of an understanding of how the sky and the stars and the heavenly luminaries work. I'm going to do a very basic tutorial just to show you guys on a really simple level the way that it was designed and the way that it works. If we didn't have these social media things and the internets, but even though I do enjoy being able to express myself here online, we would all understand exactly what we're going through tonight, but we've had that taken away from us. They don't teach us anything that's good in school. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So we've got 3 or 4 topics tonight to go through, and we don't have to talk about the Church of Satan. So I'm happy.
Yeah, it's going to be a different vibe, a different tempo tonight. I've just been working on trying to get the scenes, everything smoothed out. Hopefully it's a little bit better. I don't know, maybe check your mic a little bit to see if your volume's down. You're not coming through as loud as you have in the past. But yeah, so we're going to go through some screen shares. We're going to bring up some Stellarium. We're going to talk about the things that we've witnessed. So this is going to include things like Venus. So it wasn't that long ago. When was it, brother, that we recorded Venus tripping out, glitching out, doing
that was on Feast of Trumpets. Right.
Which day was of the Hebrew month would that have been?
That would have been the new moon sighting.
No, trumpets would be mid at the full moon, right?
It was Tabernacles.
Tabernacles. Oh, so trumpets, is that when we saw?
No, Tabernacles. I erred when I said trumpets. I meant Tabernacles.
Yeah, so Tabernacles. So that was at full moon. Now, what we've been doing is we've been getting accustomed to the new moon sightings. We've hit a number of these big ones before, where we just happen to, whoa, hey, look, there's the new moon sliver. We both look out there, 2 witnesses have sighted it. So that's happened over and over and over on big key new moon sightings. And I can guarantee you, everyone, that we're going to be looking this December 5th. This is when the new moon sighting is expected. And we're going to go into some depth and detail as to what is the scene that we're looking at in the sky when we're going to be looking at that new moon sighting, because it's pretty spectacular in my opinion, and it hits fulfillment after fulfillment after fulfillment of all these things that we've been paying attention to. So I'm sure that we're going to be covering this more as we come up to this, but it's limited time. So here we are on a Wednesday night. Then we'll typically go live on a Friday night. Then we'll typically go live on a Sunday night. And guess what? That's December 5th. So as we're going live December 5th, we will have already done the new moon sighting. And that's going to be that sign in heavens that we're going to be going into detail tonight. It's going to be up to you. All we can do is we can share up the evidence, we can serve it up, take a look at it. You are the one that gets to decide ultimately what it is that you believe and concur with. So we'll show you the reasons why we would bring up this information, and Is there something to be excited about for this December 5th? Possibly. Possibly. I mean, I doubt that there's many of you out there in the audience right now that aren't questioning how close are we to the Great Tribulation? How long can this last? And, well, this is the thing that I'm paying attention to right now, and both of us are, and we're going to show you why. So,
Well,
what else, brother?
There's a bit of a significance to this whole white horse rider talk, right? This is a rider that's going out to conquer, right? To destroy, to uproot the leaders and rulers of the earth who think they've somehow pulled one over everybody with this whole cerveza bug thing, right? With the Omicron strain, right? What's going to be next, right? So what I want everyone to pay attention to is that these heavenly things, the heavenly signs, I should say, they're not things, I should be more respectful than that, are happening. We've been seeing them. We've been documenting it. Jason and I were born to testify to these things. This is what we are here to do. We're here to witness them and share it with the world. And what happens after that is out of our control. But what we have seen is, like you said, when we started Tabernacles, we were sighting the new moon, and we literally saw Venus turn into a jumping, I don't know, embryo zygote. Like,
yes, spinning through the air where you could see a shape, and it would do side jumps, and they would do all these crazy things. If you haven't checked it out, it's video's up. A lot of people enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was incredible. Nobody's debunked us or said, oh, that was a flare or something, because we literally panned in one shot from the moon to the Venus doing what it was doing. It was all one take. And so we have that. We have the Revelation sign where we had the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon at her feet, crowned with the stars on her head, right? We witnessed all this. Everything has been being fulfilled. And what people generally do is they read the scriptures and they think, oh, the white horse rider is going to be like someone up there just like riding in on a white horse. Now, at the end of the tribulation, there's a good chance that people are going to see that, right? But everyone that's tuning in here right now shouldn't have to go through that. I mean, you might see it from, a safe place in somewhere else. But the significance of these signs, like we said, these scriptures were inspired. They were given visions. They wrote them down. And Jason and I are absolutely seeing them happen in the sky. Now, does that mean that we now have this power to breathe fire and take out all the crooked, wicked people that are running the earth? Not yet. I mean, if that was to happen, you better believe that things are going to be changed quick. So I do expect to see some kind of a flip, or how did you call it, Jason? A reverse punk, right? Satan and all of his minions are going to get reverse punked. Okay, expect it. I have no doubt in my mind that that's what's going to happen. And all the people with righteous hearts, and I'm not talking about people that drink beer or smoke cigarettes, right? I'm talking about people with good hearts. I'm not talking, Jason and I aren't here to gather in all the perfect people, right? We don't even believe that the word perfect even exists, right? We're here for the people that fight for truth, that care about the future, that care about the youth, that aren't sitting back and allowing everything to just take place without someone saying, hey, we're against this. These are our people. This is our family. And I just want everyone to know on the other side of the screen that we like to do teaching stuff more than we like to do shield calling and documenting, but nobody else is willing to step up and do it. So Jason and I do it. And it's not the most fun. I've lost my temper a few times. I've had belligerent vocabulary, just gross. It's been just disgusting. I don't like cursing. I don't like swearing. I like to be able to express myself in a little bit better of a way than just swearing all the time. So I want to apologize to everybody that had to go through that with us. It's done. We don't have to continue on that as long as those people don't do those types of content. They don't put that out. We're done with that. And we're now turning our gaze to the heavens, right? We want to explain to you guys tonight how the stars work, the pictures in the sky, how they were placed there, and what they mean. And that to me is a lot more fun than going over Jerry's content, right? But yeah, brother, I'm going to throw it back to you. And just everybody on the other side of the screen, just get right in your heart. That's my plea to you guys, is that's where you find the creator. He's inside your heart, your love, your compassion, your fight for truth.
Yeah, so one of the things that people would like to label us is being like a one-trick pony. Like we only do one thing. We're only flat earthers, or we're only shield destroyers, or we only debunk the jet fuel hoax, or we only debunk war is a hoax, or we only debunk atoms are a hoax, or any one of these things. Like, they'll try to put us into a box like it's the only thing that we do, yet all the timestamps speak for themselves, that we go across the board. We'll actually go wherever the truth leads us, and we're not afraid to go there and take everybody with us in real time. Like, we don't have to sit there and wait for 6 months, 9 months, write a book, get it published, make sure that the website's up, and join the Patreon and all this kind of stuff. No, we'll actually even show you, as we're going through the material, stuff that we're not 100% sure about. We'll let you know, hey, this is speculation at this point, this is where we think this is going. And I don't know, just too often now it's come out where we were spot on. So, not that we're going to get egotistical and take it all for granted, like any prediction that we make is going to come out true. Absolutely not. So the reason why the predictions that we've made have been accurate is because of the amount of research that's gone into them, and we make them based off of data points that literally
Deductive reasoning.
It's deductive reasoning. It points you to a certain, like, predicted outcome, and then you see how it works out. So that's the way to test whether or not you're on the right path. Can you make predictions based off of the paradigm of reality that you're operating from, right?
And so another huge piece of this information is that there's the value of time. Right? So what we did was we noticed the patterns, right? Documented them. And then through the value and the period of time that we've waited and watched, these things have unfolded. We've been teaching here that we're in a simulation, and everything happens like you are faced with choices every day. Since the moment you open your eyes till the moment you close them and you fall back asleep, you're faced with choices. And after you make a choice, a program runs. It's that simple. It doesn't need to be more complicated. And the choices that you make dictate the outcome of your days, right? And we just want to make sure that people understand that it's not some supernatural power to be able to see patterns and call them out. It just takes a little bit of effort. Everyone on the other side of the screen can do it too. You can write posts, you can write blogs, you can use your cell phone and document things. It's easy. And you make those choices, programs then run. And you know, it's sometimes I get a little bit of a twinkle in my eye, or a small smile when somebody may share something and maybe they get 100 or 200 views. Somebody else might take that, right, and share it without you knowing. And I've seen this over and over again, and it'll get 1 million views, right? This is the kind of thing that we have to just have faith, and we rely on the fact that it's a spiritual war that we're battling in. So, and that isn't in the air. It's not like we're running around with guns, and Jason and I we are physically preparing ourselves for battle, but I mean, that's not what we're telling you guys to do. We're telling you to fight with your words, with your heart, with your passion, the morphic resonance. Everything goes out, everything you do. If you have the right heart, what do we want to call this? Chakra. If you have the right energy vibe, when you intend to bring something into reality, the more truthful you are, the more in the direct path you are with the will of the creator, it'll be amplified. So just do something. That's all I want everybody to know. I'm going to throw it back to you, Jay. I just thought that was an opportunity for me to teach people how I put out my content. It comes from my heart, and then I amplify it through my intent, right? So
yeah, it's all true, and it's the way we've operated all along. You if anybody picked up on it, I put out a re-up today of some videos that we're very familiar with, and we went through them in detail 4 years ago. This is back in 2017. So we were the guys back in 2017 that were creating such a ruckus that guys like ODD and Rock Lover, they put out content like this. There was also Flat Earth Reset. There was a whole bunch of this stuff taking place because we were active. We were in it. We were paying attention to everything, and we just kept laying down timestamps one after another, one after another, one after another. We saw something, we recognized it as being important, we would just timestamp it. We would blast it out to the internet so that it was out there for everybody to see. Now, one of the things that we've been doing is in our heads, we continue to remember all the topics, everybody that we talk to the entire time, so that as situations arrive, what we do is we just recall things that we considered important back then. And I felt like, all right, this would be a good time to re-up something like this, because there's so many people that are new enough to Flat Earth that they don't know any of that took place. So what we want to continue to let people know is that Ronnie and I have been here through the entire Flat Earth awakening the whole time. Ronnie was in the Truther movement before Math Powerland and Eric Dubay and stuff like that. He was right there as that all took place. I stepped into it a little bit later. It was like end of 2016. Then we met each other, and in 2017, that's when Beyond Flat Earth started. So it was a co-channel. You can all check it out. This is how Ronnie and I started going. You can look at the content that we were putting out back then, the content that we're putting out right now, and we don't have anybody that can challenge us on anything that we've said, because we always speak from points of truth and we always document it. Right? We're the ones that, I'm the one that's backing up the videos. I download them. I save them. I save other people's videos. I do all this because I want the timestamps, because the position that we're coming from is a genuine position, caring about the truth, knowing that, sure, yeah, you don't know everything from the get-go. You make some predictive assumptions. You do the deductive reasoning, you look at all the data, and you come to certain conclusions. I found it interesting that we were already coming to the conclusion that everybody promoting the circular, Freemasonic, AE Mappamontl, the New World Order, flying disc, pizza pie out in the middle of space, that everybody that was sticking with that failed model was doing it because they had an agenda. And then we saw that it was Jesuits and Freemasons and all these people, and then they worked within networks and circles. And we were starting to make suppositions like, this looks like they're doing some sort of reality TV show, and it was actually members within their own network that then began to document and say the narrative as far as who was doing what, with who, when, how much they were being paid, whether or not there were contracts, who signed what contract, all that kind of stuff. So that video that was just published on my channel a little bit earlier has so many timestamps for all of that content. And so the New World Order fake AE Mappamodelers, they've been doing a reality TV show, and at first it was speculation on our part that this is what they were doing, trying to tie it to the Bible and then trying to destruct it. Look at fundamental truth number 2 in the description box, or watch it go by in the lower thirds. It has to do with the fact that this was so identifiable. Like, anybody that was paying attention should have been able to see this. Now it's all coming together in a big head, and not everybody was there for all of that. So we're just letting you know, check out the timestamps. Be an independent fact checker. All right?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great advice. So you hit one of my bells. So in the description box, you'll find a playlist for SoundCloud with all of our, not SoundCloud, Spotify, with all of our intro tracks. So that's down there. There's also a group that we're in called Telegram. It's a social media site. If anybody hasn't heard it before, you sign up, and it's like a messenger system where you can make posts and share links, and you can talk with other truth seekers. Now we have one that's called Reality Check, right? Because we're the actual team that checks your reality, right? We bring you the simulation content. And not only that, but we bring it to you with evidence, verifiable. And we don't hang sheets up. Well, we hang green screens up, but we don't shine lights through them trying to tell you anything. We go outside and show you the actual stars and sun and moon. This is what we do. So yeah, reality check at Telegram. The link is down below. The intro track is down below. There's a bunch of links that we put in the description box. And I'm hoping that you guys on the other side of the screen get involved. Fight for truth. Show up at reality check. Let me know. Say, hey, I'm here, Ronnie. Thanks for giving me the link. I post all kinds of articles there. I'm always fighting for truth. If you're not there, what are you doing? Why are you not fighting for truth? Like, everybody should get up. If you work, do what you can. Maybe when you're not at work, fight for truth. If you are seasonal with your work, you should be fighting for truth all the time. Well, there's so many of us, if we just stand up together, we could get so much further. So taking it back now to the fake flat earth reality show, it was Sasha. Orphan Red was the name of her channel. I'm not going to get into talking about her because I just don't want to take myself there, but she put it out in chats that they were trying to come up with some kind of a reality show, and they wanted to do like love interests, and they tried to do this dating thing where they were trying to get, and it was retarded. Like, that's not the way. You don't force, love comes in natural ways. You don't force it. If you do, it's never going to work out right. So they know this. They're projecting and manifesting wicked things. And we were there to catch it. We were like, that's interesting. So we started looking at all the characters, who shouts out who goes on whose channel. And yes, we time-stamped it all and recorded it. And through deductive reasoning, just about everything that we thought has come to pass. It's been fulfilled, right? That's what we were trying to show. And Jason was bringing it up again. What you did show today was the pre. So I don't know, ODD calls it out, Matt Priscilla. It's too bad he didn't join the right team. He called it out. Eric Dubé called it out. Eric Dubé just said everyone was a shill, which is mostly true, including him, except for us. We're absolutely two carpenters that care about the truth and the future. We care about a bright future for people that we need to give them the information, right? So that's what we're about. And so we just documented it all. Each team, like ODD would come out and he would be sharing special agent FBI, Edward Hendry, in this flat earth book with a dome over it. Anybody that came to us with the AE map pizza model thing in outer space, we knew was a flat earth society. So flat earth society was way ahead of the FE movement. They had the website and all the globe shills who are still out here trying to do the same nonsense, even though we've destroyed all of their narratives. The flat earth AE society, right? Whether you go there, you were not only were you on a pizza map flying through space, you were traveling upwards. So the fake flat earthers took that flat earth society.
Let's just take it up one extra level of shillery to the FE core.
Okay, well, I wasn't quite there yet.
All right, I just want to make sure. Like, there's levels of how high you can go in shillery.
So yeah, okay, moving on through, we had the destruction of flat earth through the reality TV show that Orphan Red and Patricia Steer and Mark Sargent designed. They did all these stupid, weird things. They made it look retarded. We said they were doing it. Then you had this other group come in and say, so they said it was the FE core, which everyone thought stood for flat earth core, right? And then we find out it stands for field engineers. And all these jackasses did was made an LLC or whatever that was, 50, you know the number, right?
501c3.
Yeah, they created this nonprofit organization.
They created a religion. Let's lay it straight, because a bunch of other, like, heliocentrist shills and stuff like that, they called them all for it. They created a religion.
Mm-hmm. So they did, and what they ended up doing was a bunch of failed experiments, just like Jaron did and Bob did. Bob supposedly proved the Earth's rotation. First man in history to do it, even though it didn't make any scientific papers or no one corroborated it. It was never repeated. All this nonsense. FE core. Then they go on to do measurements, and they tell you that the Earth is concave. Right? Not only is it still curving, but now it's curving the other way, when we've never found any proof of it curving down at all, or any way curving, right? Water alone. Shit flows downhill, part of my language. And unfortunately, that doesn't work on anything else other than a flat model where downhill runs into ocean. The land was brought up out of the seas. Everything is divided and boundaried by water. It's water. That's all it is. And the waters above are clouds and rain. and waters below are your seas, right? It's very basic. Everything that Jason and I bring to the people, to you guys, to our friends and family, is the truth, and it's simple. So yeah, the whole flat earth thing was just, it was such a joke. All these people showed up. Nobody cared about the truth. Jason and I came up with a 3-mile water level experiment where we absolutely proved that the earth was flat, and not one flat earther. There were a few. We had a small group. What did we raise? $3,500 out of like 6,000 or 7,000,
something like that.
Nobody cared. Dan Pratt. I have 100 videos on my channel. I literally made a video for each fake flat earther that wouldn't support the test. Whether you liked me or didn't like me, if you came to me with that proposition, I would want to fund it. And we were trying to bring a true crowdfunding thing together, right? Because Jaron had done 50 experiments, would fleece the people over and over again, never did anything but fail. Nobody in the community cared, right? And that's pretty much when Flat Earth completely died. That was the time. It was 2015 going into 2016. They ran all this stupid nonsense, disinformation, all these flatty awards. They just mocked Flat Earth. They had everybody that they could put. That it was like watching a HBO like odd TV show where they go into like weird antique places and there's like crazy people like that's what they did to it. They made it absolutely ridiculous. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a damn. These people that we've been covering, that Jason uploaded, they were absolutely enemies of the truth. Right from day one, their whole entire agenda was to destroy the flat earth. Jaron literally said, get acting lessons, start a YouTube channel, run it into the ground and create Peter file content. This is the type of people that we were dealing with. And unfortunately, the people want Barabbas. They want the jerk. They want the person who lies to them, tells them what they want. Oh, you like the energetic model, the magnetic model. Oh, now you're in a donut toroid field of energy that flows around you. And then when we actually go out and measure these things, there's none of it, right? We're the team that brings you what we see, what we measure, and what we witness. And it looks like that's not what the people want, but we still care about whoever does show up. I know we say we don't do this to make friends. I've said this, we don't do it for likes. We don't really do it for comments, but what we do it for is that others like us might hear it and they'll be with us because they're the same as us. That's what we do. You don't have to beg or search or do any of that. I don't need to tell people to subscribe and like. I do like people to comment though, because we don't get very many people that share their thoughts. Also, we're in a sandbox. We're in an internet off the internet where only certain people are even allowed to see our content. Like if you go to someone else's computer or phone and search, you won't find us. And sometimes what mostly happens is people get our channels and then they only get like 10 videos from 6 months ago or 2 years ago. They don't even get our new content. But I don't want to bitch. I don't care about that because through morphic resonance, everything we do has an effect as long as our intent is guided by the will of the creator. We just hold the sail out and he just blows the wind. That's nothing that Jason and I do. We take credit for. We're just witnessers of the experience here. And you guys are doing it with us. So we should probably get into it, brother. I've been rambling way too much.
Yeah, so there was just a few things as you were talking that I was hoping to be able to touch on. We were talking about the religions, the 501c3 that FE Core created. One of the big connections that I think everybody ought to at least contemplate is the channel name Jaronism. Right, so Jaronism, Jaronism. It's his name, Jaron. Ism, what is an ism? Right, think about the isms, people. How many good isms are you familiar with? How many of them are of, let's say, leftist or fascist or of socialist or of Marxist or of any of those types of ideologies? How many of those things are referred to as isms, right?
A lot of them.
They're all isms, right? How many good isms can you even think of? Is there a good ism at all?
No, they're all bad.
Right. So what are the isms? The isms are like trains of thought, philosophies, right? They're isms like Karl Marx, Marxism, communism, socialism. These are trains of thought. So Jaronism is literally him trying to be the cult leader to bring people into Jaronism, right? Become a Jaronist. a follower of Jaren. So you've got that aspect. And the other thing, the sandbox that you were referring to, it's I don't know. I had a point on it, but I'm not remembering. So maybe we should get into the screen share. Was there anything else you wanted to go through?
No, I touched on a bunch of topics tonight, and like I said, it's just nice to not have to talk to our the Church of Satan again. Y'all are just headed where you're headed. Tell me when you're going into the screen share. And thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you for your nice compliments. Jason and I give all the glory to our Heavenly Father. We don't. We're not here for earthly riches. We've given all that up.
All right, so we should be full screen right now with with having Stellarium up.
Okay, so now let me get my light off here. So now we're going to get into the heavenly luminaries. So just to start this off, as Jason's setting up here, what I want everybody to know is there's 2 rotations in the sky. Right, there's a group of stars in the southern part, we'll call it, right on the bottom of the map, and on the top of the map there's another rotation. And these are of the fixed stars, and separating those we have the celestial ecliptic path, and then the 7 wandering stars. They move up and down along it, and we're going to get into a little bit easier of a detail later, but I just wanted to preface that until Jason was ready.
Yeah, so we're just going to be playing in Stellarium for a little bit, and I just want to start. If I do it this way, people aren't going to see my cursor, so I gotta try it the other way. This might take a little bit for me to get set up. Just hold on, everybody.
Yeah. Well, what we're looking at here, right, is we have a type of centaur, or it looks like a white man with a cape riding a horse with a bow and arrow with the moon right at his eyes. And then what we have is Venus also in this sign, right? Everybody knows that we filmed Venus turning into like an embryo that was bouncing through the sky doing these crazy patterns, right? So what we're looking at is the white horse rider with a bow, and he's also crowned with what's called the Corona Australis, which is a group of stars that is fixed with him, right? Interesting that he's crowned, but the bow or the crown could also be the moon, right? That's what we're seeing. We're just calling this out. Jason spotted it. We were actually looking at, if you look up higher, you see Jupiter at the waist or at the belt position. Oh, you've got it. You're running it back. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, so we got to start at the beginning. You gave the ending before the beginning. All right?
Stop.
Yeah, so the beginning here, like Ronnie was saying, what do we see here as far as
the sun?
The sun.
Ophiuchus.
Where is it? What constellation?
No.
So we got the constellations that are along the ecliptic, and is Ophiuchus or Ophiuchus on the ecliptic?
Yes.
No.
What?
No. It goes Scorpius, Sagittarius.
Not directly.
Yeah, but it's not one of the constellations that's listed along the ecliptic. Now it does sit right against it, and it is a guy holding a snake. And right now in this position, at this moment, we are literally getting the shot that is in iPad Goat. This shot right here is the end scene of iPad Goat. In fact, I do have.
So where the sun is also generally with the range that I would call the ecliptic path. You do understand that, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So
so if the sun is touching,
constellations that they list,
it's touching the sun.
Scorpius, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Those are they don't list.
Oh, but I mean, it's touching.
Ophiuchus or Ophiuchus.
Well, it's not really. They drew in his knee.
Yeah.
Or his leg, right? That's not what you'll see in the sky. So Jason is explaining where the actual stars are.
If we take it up further, then so before the sun was in Scorpio, it was in Libra. So this Libra,
Scales.
Scorpius, Sagittarius, this is the ecliptic plane right here. We've watched it come through here. We watched it come through the claw. Or actually, where is it right now? We're on the first.
And just a supposition of mine that the one holding the snake would be probably likened unto Michael, right?
Yeah, so here we are. This would be before sundown for your location right now, but the sun is in the claw on December 1st. And the big day that we're looking for, well, first, on the 4th, we can go to Antarctica and we can show people the eclipse from Antarctica. But for everybody that doesn't live in Antarctica, the next big event is going to be on the 5th, looking for the next new moon. So that next new moon, I want to make sure everybody knows, is the 9th new moon of this year. The calendar is in the description box. It is on the fundamental truth number 5, which has to do with the true calendar. So if you're interested in looking at it, it's a Google Drive thing. Take it, look at it, play with it. If you find anything that's that doesn't line up, doesn't work, let me know, because we'll make the corrections. We'll let everybody know. We'll thank everybody for the research that you put into it. So on the 5th, this is the day that we're looking for the new moon. Right? The eclipse takes place on a day where there is no moon. It's a no moon day. And the 5th is going to be the day that we're looking for that new moon sighting. And let me just show people quick the iPad goat end scene thing here. All right, so I'm just going to rewind a few seconds. I'm sure you've all seen this before. But so that this character is going out here. You have the sun right here. So many people before us, completely before us. We're not saying the first we've talked about this. We would have never even looked at this information before. But somebody thought it was important and put this out. So you have the scorpion right here. And as we play this, you saw the sun shoot something at a pyramid, and then the pyramid starts to explode right here when the sun is right at the back part of the claw, coming back into, I don't know what you call them. You've got the claw part, and then the next knuckle that's behind that. And so this is the scene that's depicted in this animation, is that destruction taking place with the sun at that part of the claw right there. Now it shot out another thing. I don't know where that thing went. Let's launch it. 1, 2, 3. Shot out 3 things. All right, so if we go back to Stellarium, that's the scene right there. It's in this section of the claw. Well, actually, like tonight is really where it's most aligned with that scene. You can see that. But then if we go ahead, we know that the eclipse takes place on the 4th. Then the 5th, we got the new moon sighting. And let's go ahead and keep running this forward. So like you were saying before earlier, brother, as this sign comes down, look at what happens when the sun goes below the horizon. This one, you don't look for a new moon sighting while the sun's up. You wait for the sun to set, and you wait for this orange glow to start fading. And so right here at this point is when you would expect to see that new moon sighting. And look at where that thing is, brother. What do you think of that?
I think it's beautiful. So literally, it looks like the moon is not only a sight, right, to look through, as well as it's also right above the actual what would you call the horsehair of the bow? Right, it's going to get flung forward. The moon is literally being projected down towards the earth in this depiction. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I was amazed when I saw this. The new moon sighting, it's on the bowstring. It's in the shooting position right above the scorpion, where ipeck goat. They seem to think that sun in the claw was indicative of something. They really do.
Yeah, they marked it. They marked it out. And everything that they marked out in that, this is the most obvious of it. And Jason and I are the only ones talking about it. Go figure, right?
Yeah, let's take a little bit more of a closer look as to what's going on here in Sagittarius. Brother, if I asked you, like, this part of it right here, is there an animal that...
Horse.
A horse. All right.
It's obvious.
All right, and this right here looks like a man.
Man's torso.
And he's got a bow.
He's got a bow.
And he's got a crown.
And a crown.
All right, so there's that right there. It could be all super supposition, but all of a sudden I'm going to say this is less of a coincidence now that Venus happens to be in this constellation at the same time. So what is Venus in the sky to you, brother? Could you let us all know?
Well, generally it's termed the morning and the evening star.
That's it? It's not connected to anything, anybody, anywhere?
It's super bright, and it is generally likened unto Yahawahashai, right, the Christ.
Yeah, the morning star, right?
Mm-hmm. The bright and morning star. Not some mistransliteration where someone takes the word light bearer, which is the Christ. When he was created, his face shone as bright and even brighter than the sun. He was just blast forth light. That's why he's called the light bearer. It's not Satan, Zazel. No.
All right, so the bright and morning star, and it can be an evening star as well, is Yahawahashai, and it happens to be in the constellation. All right, we're on the new moon after we just had a blood moon. The day after, we have a solar eclipse where the scriptures say the moon must be turned to blood, the sun must be darkened, and then that great and terrible day shall come, and December 5th, come on. So that's just this right here. Now look at what's up above it. So as this is coming down, all right, so the sky is darkening. Now all of a sudden you can start to see, guess what? What is it that you get to see? These are the most obvious and visible things that you're going to see when you look up in the sky. You know, other than the moon or the sun, the wandering stars here, they stand out. So we have Jupiter and Saturn. So what is it that you're seeing here in this sign, brother?
So now what we have is Jupiter, who's likened unto the scepter star of Yahawah, right? In the constellation of what we would call the water bearer. And we can take the water bearer and we can break that down. We had Moses, who broke open a rock and water came forth, right? We can look at Yahawahashai. He came, and his ministry was about baptism through water, right? Being reborn again, right? Through the water. And what we can see is it's significant because Jupiter being on the belt area of this sign is very symbolic of something really powerful. So we know that the Yahawah sign is Jupiter. It's his star. And he gives it to Judah, his son. Judah is the ruler of Jupiter.
I'm getting a little bit of an allergy attack right now, but
we're good.
Try to hang in there. So this is all taking place December 5th, sunset. That's when we're looking for the new moon sighting. So let's do a refresh. Let's rewind this. Bring these guys back out of the ground. Shine the light again. if you go out December 5th at sunset for your location, you're going to be watching the iPad 2 end scene take place.
Yes, and depending on where you are latitudinally or longitudinally, the sign will be either higher. The sign will either be higher in the sky or lower, right? Depending on where you are compared to the equator, right? And so you've got scriptures, right?
For what?
Close those tabs. For the sign of the white horse rider.
I think so, maybe.
I think you do.
I'll have to look.
Yeah,
right, so
we want to look at those too.
As the sun's going down, we're going to just run through this now.
We're time traveling, ladies and gentlemen. You're now seeing the future.
Sun's going down in Scorpius. Look at Sagittarius. He's got that lined up.
You guys see the way that the light just washed across the screen? So as that light washes across the screen, if you observe the sunset enough, you'll start to see it. I can see it. As the darker section of that wash comes through, boom, all of a sudden the new moon shows up, right? And then you can see that tiny sliver.
So you've got that orange. Watch where these stars are now starting to show up. All right. You got the nighttime stars becoming visible. This is the sliver that we should get right here. And look where that is. Come on.
Look, it's like almost in the center of that.
I'm talking about the white horse rider.
Right in the eye line, right?
With the crown, with the bow. This is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, everybody. Guess which one's first?
White
this
horse
one.
rider.
It's got Venus with it. It's got Venus right on its rump right here.
Well, and Yahawahashai said the next time you will see me, right, you will see this sign. You will see a white horse rider. He said he would come back like this.
All right, and so the next horse that comes after the white horse is the red horse that takes away peace. Now, look at where Saturn is.
Look at where Saturn is, everybody.
Saturn's in the goat thing.
In the goat thing.
Fish goat thing. Right in the heart of it. Saturn's in the heart of the fish goat thing.
Like the moon was in the heart of the last sign.
So is this the red horse? Are these front paws here? Is this supposed to be horse on the front here? We don't know.
I think it's a goat. It's got a beard. It's a goat, man. Come on.
Bearded goat.
It's a goat.
It's not standing on the hood of my truck. I'm not sure.
Or eating our plants or whatever. Destroy our elephant ears.
And then Jupiter is moving into Aquarius. How many people have ever heard of the age of Aquarius? Right?
Most people.
Most people have heard of it. So Jupiter moves through Aquarius, what do they say? Every 12 years. Every 12 years. So that's not like this doesn't happen. It's not like Jupiter never goes through Aquarius. It goes through it every 12 years. But it's moving into Aquarius at the time that we had the sun in Scorpius. We had the white horse rider with the new moon right in the bow shooting, Venus in that constellation, Saturn in the heart of Capricorn, and now Jupiter's entering Aquarius. So this is how the celestial clock works. These wandering stars highlight the featured presentation at the time. Now we don't use this for predicting the future.
No.
We're watching the story transpire in the sky as it's happening, and we're just pointing to what's going to happen December 5th.
Let me add a little bit of more context here, brother. So these things do repeat, right? The signs and the alignments do line up, but not in a way that where we started, it was, I believe, 2015, we had the Star of Bethlehem sign, right? Was it a conjunction of Venus and Jupiter, I believe, right? Or was it Mercury? It was a conjunction of two stars.
Venus and Jupiter, June 30th, 2015.
Thank you. So once that then started, we hadn't seen that sign, I believe, in 2,000 years, right? Then we moved forward with the Revelation sign, hadn't seen that in 2,000 years. So what we're saying here is that this was the exact story that led up into the passion of the Christ when he died and was resurrected for us, right? So we're showing you that they're marking it too. Team Church of Satan are marking it, but they're marking it with the destruction sign, which is literally like that white horse rider just shot out of the bow above this sign that you're seeing. Boom, right there.
Boom,
right? So
kill shot to the New World Order right there.
that's what we're hoping for. That's what we're looking at. That's how we're discerning the pictures that we see in the sky. We're not telling you that, oh, this month the moon is here, and if you play your cards right, you could
make a lot of money.
$1,000.
Bet on Bitcoin.
Exactly. Yeah, get you some Bitcoin. What we're telling you is the Father left a heavenly story up in the sky, and these things repeat and they get amplified. They're greater as they go. Like those that were first shall come last, and they will be greater than those because they're the last ones. And then we'll go back to the start. But what I really want to point out here is that we've seen a succession of all these beautiful signs. Like when I met Jason, it was it Jupiter moved into the constellation Virgo's belly, and it stayed there for over a year. And then in September of 2017, the sign was birthed, right? And it's been 4 years since then. And that also matches the parable of the fig tree, because he said, give it 4 more years, dig around it, add some manure, water it, and see if it bears fruit. And we're actually seeing the fulfillment of that lining up with this picture in the sky, what iPet Goat was trying to call out. We've brought in a new sign. We're now saying that this looks like the white horse rider, the beginning of the tribulation, the conqueror that comes with a bow and a crown, right? These are the things that we want to point out. And not only that, but then we've got Saturn above it, right? And Saturn is Kronos, and all the Satanists worship that nonsense, right? But what we talk about is the pictures that are unfolding in the sky. So maybe we should look at the scriptures. You can show the sign.
Let me check and see if I even have the scriptures up. I'm gonna go to the thumbnail quick.
Sure. Yeah, you probably still have them up. But yeah. So hopefully people are being edified, and that you don't just think that our entire ministry here is calling ourselves, even though we will continue to do it. We're never going to stop. Also giving you the truth about the cerveza and everything. Not to check us out on Telegram. I put the link in the chat. Do it again. Also, there's the calendar that Jason's added into the chat. I can put that again. And yeah, just do your research, everybody. Fact check everything. If I don't know what people have better to do, if they're like going out partying, or that's not what we do here. We document and research all the time. That's what we want you guys to do. Again, so the white horse rider is the conqueror. He's coming with a bow, and then after him follows war, right? Famine, right? And then death, correct? And we're watching this closely, because what we think is that the fulfillment of the scriptures are coming to pass, and that there's a lot of people that are going to be caught unawares because they're absolutely not paying attention. They chase after their own vain imaginations, right? Everybody knew this year that the calendar was a month off. We had to reckon it when we had the first new moon after the equinox, and I just put the calendar in the chat there, showing you the counts, right? And we just passed November 30th, which is 1260 or 1290 to Passover 2025, which we believe will be the halfway point of the Great Tribulation. And all these things we've been laying out, we've been telling everybody, and not too many people have like, hey, we should talk about this, or nobody, all the rapture crew who absolutely are going against what the scriptures say, they don't really want to talk about this stuff with us. They want to say rapture. They completely glaze over the ministry of the two witnesses, where they put all things straight and pave the way for the returning king, right? That's what's happening. And the king's army. So the last time the Christ was here, he said that his kingdom wasn't of this place yet, right? And soon it will be. And we think that is absolutely about to take place. So keep your hats on. Do you have everything back in order?
Well, all the other scenes are not showing what they're supposed to show, except for this one. So we'll use this one. So I'm just going to show people some scriptures. The four horsemen of the apocalypse. Go to Wikipedia. You can go to the Bible anywhere you want, but the first thing that jumps out is the white horse. This is Revelation 6, 1 and 2. Look it up in any translation you want, everybody. Then I saw when the Lamb broke one of the 7 seals. So there's 7 seals being talked about in Revelation. And I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying, as with a voice of thunder, "Come." I looked, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on it had a bow.
Had a what?
And a crown.
And a crown.
And was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer.
So someone in the chat had suggested earlier that there was no bow in scriptures, and I'm just letting that person know that clearly it stated that he was on a white horse and he had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. Right? This is something good against the rulers and kings of the earth today. They're the things that are going to be conquered.
And the next horse is the red horse. Revelation 6, 3 and 4. When he broke the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, "Come," and another, a red horse, went out, and to him who sat on it, it was granted to take peace from earth, that men should slay one another, and a great sword was given to him.
Okay, let me just talk here for 1 second. We've seen nothing but rumors and staged Freemasonic fake wars. Theater of war, they call it. It's just a joke. Their military weapons are a joke. Their planes, they don't have heat-seeking missiles. All this stuff is just nonsense. They can drop stuff out of a plane with like gunpowder in it or whatever. But that's about it. Nukes are a hoax, everything. Galen Windsor, check them out. But what this says here is that war will be given back to the earth, right? So people are going to absolutely hate each other. That's why you need to get absolutely correct with your heart right now. Like, I don't want to tell someone you better get into the scriptures and start reading. No, plea out to the Creator to guide you and to protect you right now, because what we're seeing is devastating things coming upon the earth. And I'll be right back.
Yeah, so it doesn't say war in the scripture. It says, granted to take peace from the earth, and that men would slay one another. So this is talking about a time period where, yeah, it could be war, it could be fake Freemasonic war, where they're saying this and that, and a nuke did this, and an EMP did that. That's all going to be bull crap. But peace is taken from the earth, that men would slay one another. So it looks like as the white horse rider goes forth conquering, this is the time when people are actually going to take to the streets, and you're going to see civil disorder to the point of neighbor against neighbor, family member against family member, all that type of stuff. So that it goes white horse, then it goes red horse. So if that white horse sign is December 5th, we can expect this not too long after that. In fact, when we take a look at the calendar, so we've been at the grocery store, and what I pay attention to the covers of some of the magazines like History and Time and stuff like that to see what it is that they're pushing. And for the last couple of weeks, it's been a big push for December 7th. December 7th is Pearl Harbor Day. And for those that have paid attention to the lower thirds coming in and out, Pearl Harbor was a hoax. It was a Freemasonic theater. We've covered this. So we've got the videos debunking it. It actually looks stupid when you look at it now. It looks worse than the moon landing. Right?
Yeah, there was like 30 different camera angles. None of the planes had props. Like the Japanese were filming and gave them the footage. You know, it's just retarded.
It really is. So that's the second horse. So if we have December 5th, the white horse rider rides, then December 7th could be a day that is set up for the red horse to ride.
You know, what's the next horse?
The next horse is the black horse.
What happens with the black horse?
It says, when he broke the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come." I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard something like a voice in the center of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius. But do no damage to the oil and wine."
So that's a reference almost to the midpoint of the tribulation, when the Antichrist comes fully on scene, and then he sets the prices for these things, for the food, for the bread.
I'm gonna
right, and
I'm gonna contradict you on that one a little bit. I'm sorry, but so what I'm seeing is that the white horse rider goes to conquer. Then all of a sudden, civil unrest takes place. We have all those links at some point we could go through as far as the connections to Hoover Dam and stuff like that, but we know from the scriptures that what's going to become an absolute premium during the first half of the Great Tribulation is water. Right? Because the Elijah character is going to be active. He's going to shut up the heavens for 3.5 years. There's not going to be any more rain. Then we have a whole bunch of curses that are going to be poured out, where a bunch of the water is going to be turned to blood. Bunch of the water is going to be turned bitter. So having water is going to be the extreme priority of every human being on earth. We know that the life-giving water is going to be given by Yahawahashai. It's going to be in the promised land where he's bringing everybody to. So the idea that a quart of wheat for a denarius, once civil unrest takes place, once people are literally fighting, once the truckers, once the shipping, once all those things, and once the rain stops, it's going to be really hard to eat as well, right? Because the crops are going to be destroyed.
I was just drawing a parallel. There is a parallelism to a quote in Revelations where it almost says it word for word. Now, we can look at it not completely chronological, and we can look at it like you had said. So we do know that all of a sudden everything's going to be more expensive, and what we see is that if the 2 witnesses are going to take the water from the earth, there's a good chance that they'll probably destroy, right, the Hoover Dam. That might be the starting point of all this, which is kind of what it looks like in IPEG GOAT. I'm just pointing these connections out. Now we've got this is pale is the incorrect transliteration. It's actually the green horse.
So when the Lamb broke the 4th seal, I heard the voice from the 4th living creature saying, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and he who sat on it had the name Death, and Hades was following with him. Authority was given to them over 1/4 of the earth, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by the wild beasts of earth. So just by these 4 horsemen riding, we're losing 1/4 of the population of Earth.
Yeah, I do see your timeline, leading up to this could be, the first 3.5 years, right?
Yeah.
It could be quicker though, right? That's what we're saying. Like I don't want to say that it couldn't all happen. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know how the timeline's going to work, but we're pointing out parallelisms and what we see.
Yeah, well, we've got the hangout that's up on Odyssey now, where we lined up the bowls that are poured out in Revelation, the bowls of wrath, the trumpets. So there's 7 bowls, 7 trumpets, and then we're talking about the seals right here as far as the horses being let out. So what we saw in that hangout is that the bowls, the trumpets, and the horses, that's all first half of the Great Tribulation. Mm-hmm. The second half is once the 2 witnesses are gone, then you have the Antichrist step up, and now everybody has to have the mark of the beast or they get their head chopped off. So that's where the people get the opportunity to get a crown. And then
those that have taken the mark should break out with severe, gross. I don't even want to name it.
Yeah, well, the bowls, that's the first thing that's poured out. So the moment that the Great Tribulation begins, we would expect to see the sores break out on the people that have already taken the mark of the beast. So it's the way the scriptures are written, the mark has to have already been taken by people when the Great Tribulation starts in order for them to have the boils and the sores and stuff break out. That's the first thing that's rolled out to people. It's not lethal in itself if you actually read the scriptures. It itself is not lethal. It just says that you have terrible boils and sores. There's a whole bunch of other lethal things that come after it. And the seventh, in both the trumpets and the bowls being poured out, lines up with the great earthquake that takes place at the time that the two witnesses perish and the Antichrist takes the stage. And that's when Jerusalem is rocked and it has this great earthquake and it splits and 7,000 people die at that time. So yeah, the first half of the Great Tribulation is action-packed. The amount of people left for the second half, we know from the scriptures, is just a fraction of people are left.
You know, so going in parallel with this, right, there's going to be a ministry taking place, right? And, you know, I don't have these superpowers or anything. I'm just Ronnie. But what I can tell you guys is that the ministry would be about how you would learn that through one man, all men fell. Through one man, all men were saved, or the path to salvation was given. And we fell because of the curse of the law. So as soon as the Father told Adam and Eve, thou shalt not eat, or thou shalt eat of this, and you shall taste of death, right? As soon as that was implemented into the simulation, boom, that was the law, the tree, the apple moment. And then Yahawahashai, the Christ, was nailed to the tree, and he became the first fruits. His death actually bore life, right? This is the ministry that I'll be teaching with Jason, and it deals about resurrection through the baptism that John came preaching in the wilderness. He was telling people, come ye and be born again. And he wasn't saying you're going to crawl inside your mom's womb and be born again. He was saying that even if you die, you will live. Even if you live, you will never die, is the ministry that Jason and I are bringing forth. Resurrections, reincarnations, supernatural abilities. These are the things that the Father have coded into the simulation. And these are the things we want to expand and explain parables that have been not understood for thousands of years. And this is the thing that Jason and I are going to be teaching alongside of all the other stuff. And, that's just a small amount that I can share with you guys right now, but it's going to be great.
Yeah, so if you read Revelation 6, you'll see that the first seal is the white horse rider. I watch as the Lamb open the first of the 7 seals, right? Then you will see that the second seal is the red horse. Then you will see that the third seal is the black horse. Then you will see that the fourth seal is the gray or green horse. Now, a lot of people stop there. So let's keep going a little bit. And it says when he opened the 5th seal, right, we had 4 horsemen. Now we got a 5th seal. It says, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of Yahawah and the testimony they had maintained. They called out in a loud voice, How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood? Then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer, until the full number of their fellow servants, their brothers and sisters, were killed just as they had been. So there is literally a counter. There is a number being counted where we have to be patient until the full number of their fellow servants, both brothers and sisters, were killed just as they had been. Then there's the sixth seal. I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and to the rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of their wrath has come. Who can withstand it?" So that great day of wrath reminds me of another scripture. The sun.
And keep in mind, those there, it wasn't his. We got dual. There's two characters being spoken of constantly throughout the scriptures.
So here's some scriptures. The sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. That's Joel 3. This is Old Testament. All right. Joel 2, the sun, what is it? Oh, we got a couple scriptures in Joel. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Joel 1, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Matthew, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, right? Isn't this what we're talking about? And lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. So, number of scriptures talking about that taking place, right?
Yeah, everybody needs to be prepared if this stuff starts taking place. You know, if you're hearing our voice, we all know that you guys are going to be completely safe.
Yeah, what else do you want to go through, brother?
Well, I've got some screen shares. If you want to present me, I can share some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Hopefully you guys were edified. Some interesting stuff we were just talking about. Let me move this out of the way. So just to go into a little bit of a teaching here on how the sky works. Right. So we'll go to Enoch first. This is the second book of Enoch. Let me know when I'm presenting.
You should be presenting, brother.
And it says, on the fourth day I commanded that there be great lamps or lights on the heavenly circles or circuits. Right? They're circles because the luminaries circle around us, each and every one of you. And it says, on the highest circle, I placed the star Kronos. So what we can do is we can go to this map here. We got Saturn. Okay, the highest up star is Saturn. Then it says on the second, the lower down, I placed Eryphdit, and that is Jupiter, right? Then it says on the third, Eris. We go to that. Oh, wrong link. And we have Mars, right? And then on the next level, we have the sun. Then on the next level, on the fifth, we got Zeus, and that is Venus, right? The morning star and the evening star. We just spoke about it. Super bright. And on the next one, he placed Hermes, which is Mars, right? No, Mercury. Excuse me, Mercury. And on the lowest of the heavenly circles, see how this depiction here shows you the circles, right? This is how it works in the sky. It literally just
Highest one, lowest one.
Circles around you. So what we can deduce from this is that this is the way you'll see what they call occultations. So when these stars cross in front of each other, right? Obviously, nothing can go in front of the moon, right? And then Mercury and Venus and the sun and Mars and so on, Jupiter and Saturn. So these right here are your 7 heavenly luminaries, right? These are the ones that wander. They call them the wandering luminaries. You're not to worship them. They're there for lights and seasons and to mark signs. That's what these are. And they're attributed to certain things in the scriptures. And that's it. Like you don't, you don't try to predict things in your life. You just look at them, read the scriptures, and see where it lines up. That's it. So again, going back to it. So that's how Enoch taught us, right? This was a 5,000-year-old book. Still very true. It's non-debunkable. So now we're looking at, this is your circle that you can see. Okay. And they've delineated it with like this area here. That's it. You can only see so far up. You can only see so far left and right. It's a circle around you. We call it your circle of sight. This is your vanishing point where they have these mountains. So this is a person in the north, right? He's looking north. So you look in the north and you look to the North Pole in the sky. It's always there. This star, the North Star, you can line up a piece of conduit, round pipe, pointed at it, cemented into the ground, and now until the end of time, until it falls from the sky, it'll be in the same spot. It'll never move out of that. This is an absolute globe earth debunk, absolutely, because there's 4 movements of rotation in this so-called heliocentric model, right? This one star doesn't move in this observer. So once you sight that, you turn around and look south. I don't know why I did that. When you look south, you'll have your zenith, your celestial equator, right? And then this is the 2 areas where the sun travels back and forth. And the 7 stars, these ones, the 7 luminaries. Where's the tab? These luminaries, they all travel around you in this circle. They rise in the east like this. They come up over you and then they set. We just looked at the set, right? We were looking at the iPet goat video and we were looking to the west from the north as it sets, right? So basically that's how it works. This is how we see it. And then if we want to look at the macro, this is a map. This is a stereographic projection, right? And you have celestial equator, which is the blue line, and the earthly equator, which is the red line. And let's see if we have some better maps. This one's a little bit more detailed. These are the pictures of the stars that we were just looking at right along here. Well, they kind of do the stereographically the way that they're projected. So again, this is like the sun's path. It gets so high in the winter. So this is like looking from, Wisconsin or Milwaukee or Toronto or Montreal. The sun only gets this high. If the further south you go, the sun will get up higher. When you're on the equator, it'll get right up here in your sky. And the stars do the exact same path. They follow inside these lines. It's not complicated. It's super easy. Here it is here. This is the way that it can be measured in the sky and projected. But so again, in the north, looking south, let's say from Toronto, where I'm from, north of Toronto, the sun gets up high in the sky when you look south. And in the wintertime, it's way low. Like I filmed the solstice when I was in Canada from a spot on Lake Ontario, and the sun was just as far away as it is all year. Lowest in the sky. Didn't get up high into the sky that day. That's December, generally around the 21st. So again, you have a north celestial pole, and in the south, you have a south celestial pole. Right? The stars in the north go counterclockwise around us. The stars on the bottom side of the map, they go clockwise. One has a Big Dipper in the north that spins around us counterclockwise, and in the south they have a cross. It's called the Southern Crux.
I gotta interrupt you right now. There was a fact checker thing that was put out on my video earlier today that actually seems to validate exactly what you were saying, that independent fact checkers have been able to film these counterclockwise rotations in the north, clockwise in the south, all while the earth is fixed and immovable and while there's no curvature. So seems like you seem to be hitting on things that the fact checkers are nailing.
Yeah. So basically, this is a picture of a stereographic map of the sky. Okay. This is how it looks. And we're saying that the map we live on, the flat earth map, does the same thing as this, right? You can go off any side of it and you just come back on the other side, corresponding with anywhere on this point, on this map, any direction. The boundaries are like water and put up in the sky. So here it is. Here's all the signs. They're all laid out stereographically. Here you got the bow, right? You guys can see the characters. They're very similar. There's a snake one here. This is how they work. This is projected onto a sphere. That's how they lie to you. They coordinated it out like this. Now this is done in a Mercator style where they skew the bottom and the top of the map to infinity. This makes the most distortions. It doesn't work, but they can grid it out like this. And scientists like to do that just so that they can map it out easy. It's just a simpler way, but it's not the correct way. The correct way is to stereographically put it like this. Then it forms, and it's interesting, if you wanted to pretend that you lived on a sphere, this would then be a circle around the sphere. We've got all the videos where we actually do that. But I just want everyone to understand that this is how the stereographic projection works right here. You have your north and south poles, just like this. And then the ecliptic goes right through here. That's where the sun and the moon and the stars all travel, where my pointer's going. And then that's one pole that travels, and it goes counterclockwise like this. The Big Dipper and all the other beautiful stars. And this one goes clockwise like this. That's how the sky is above us, right? Four corners. It's a rectangle. The way that the heavenly tabernacle was set up. Go figure. And again, these are how the stars are projected on it. So let's just do a quick recap. We'll finish this easy tutorial on how to understand the sky. So again, Saturn is the highest one, right? So it's the furthest away from the Earth plane. Then you have Jupiter, and then Mars, then the sun, then Venus, then Mercury, then the moon, right? And they all work together along that path. Enoch taught us the heights of the stars first, right? 5,000 years ago or more. Then this is how you actually look it up. You'll see the North Pole. You can use your cell phone app. You get Starry Night. There's a bunch of apps. You just point it up and it'll tell you everything that you need to see. And you turn around, right? Then we're looking at the celestial equator in the sky. It's right here. And then you'll see the signs generally in that area, right? Whether on top or below. Jason was saying that he didn't think that Ophiuchus was on the, because it's not on the center plane, but it's right there. This is where the story takes place that we're supposed to be watching. So that's basically it. That's all I wanted to present, and just let people a little bit of understanding as to how or what we're looking at. It's really not that complicated.
Yeah, well, the longer you're in it, the easier it is to see. So, what do they say? It takes 28 times for you to do a thing before it starts becoming a habit. You might have to study and actually pay attention to information like this at least 28 times before you actually comprehend it, before you get it, before it starts making sense to you. So,
Am I still presented?
You are still presented.
So,
I was just saying in the chat that, so you've got guys like Jaron that say you have an atmospheric dome around you. It's not an atmospheric dome around you. Everybody is limited in their distance that they can see to the horizon based on their elevation and their observing conditions. So you're not going to be able to see as far in a blizzard or a fog bank as you can on a super clear day.
So,
and then that circle of sight that a person has, the distance that they can see, that's the distance that you see what Ronnie was showing, the rotation of those different luminaries. So you have the wandering stars at different heights. That's the reason why sometimes you have a full eclipse and sometimes you have what they call an annular eclipse. Right? Because they're actually moving in elliptical orbits in and out around the observer, each and every one of those luminaries. And
yeah, so
go ahead.
Sorry. If you're not finished, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I lost my thought. That's all right.
Well, what I was going to say is that also when they depict this stuff, right, they have to flatten out the Earth to show you how this works. They don't show you on a curve, right? This is a flat plane. So that's the only way you can actually measure these things. With a sextant, you need to have a flat plane. But so again, this is an observer looking at the north celestial pole. He turns around, or she, and looks south. And then you got the celestial equator, right? And then the zenith point and the lowest point of the sun. This is summertime sunrise, and this is wintertime sunrise, right? This is on the equinox, right? So that happens twice a year too. That's all this is depicting. It's not really hard. It's very easy to understand. It's just that, not too many people realize then that the stereographic projection This is, and we found it. It was the C.S. Pierce 1894. C.S. Lewis.
Pierce. C.S. Pierce.
Pierce. What, isn't that in the chat? Let me see.
It's in the description box.
In the description, yeah.
So there is the actual image. So below point 6, there's a link to Google Maps.
So here's the map that we show. This is a stereographic projection, right? I don't know if everybody can see it.
Should be able to. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger on.
Why can't I flip through the pictures?
Because it's just a link to one picture.
Oh, it's not the Google Drive? Okay, but yeah, so this is a stereographic projection, and it's been misrepresented a lot. But this is how you overlay these images here. This image that I'm showing you with the star constellations, these are the fixed stars. They overlay over top of that link. Where'd that link go? Just disappeared. Oh no, it's back here, sorry. They overlay over this, okay? And then you have, this is the south celestial pole, half of it. The other half of it's over here. And this is the north celestial pole, right? This is the way that we've been able to figure out how they mapped it and how they created the global psyop. They first needed this map, and then these lines here, they become perfect circles, straight lines. All these curved lines become straight lines. These are what's known as room lines. The way that they're not room lines. To do a room line, I need to draw a straight line across this map. And then when I project that straight line to a sphere, it'll be that curved arc route that people see when they do Google Earth measurements. But on this map, it's a straight flight. And that's why we had the debate with somebody. It was John LeBon, and I said, if I can express what you think is a globe, and then I can show you how it works on a flat plane, if it matches reality, this one wins, because this is absolutely how you would chart a straight flight. So then on the globe Earth, they have to make up this arc that's not in existence. Go ahead.
Yeah, the straight line on a stereographic map ends up being, like you were saying, the Great Circle route, but it's also what they call dead reckoning. So if you take globe maps, then you have to put room lines on it in order to do dead reckoning. If you have a stereographic map, the straight line is the dead reckoning. It is the straight path between 2 points, and it is what makes the adjustments for all the changes as you go across longitudinal lines. That's what happens. So we've demonstrated that for like 4 years now.
I muted myself and then hid the controls. Sorry about that. It's been a while since I've screen shared. Jason's been doing all the teachings. So another thing that I want to bring up here is that there is absolutely no one that's allowed to do this path here. You would think that if you were going to fly from here to here, you would fly right over the North Pole. But what NASA says is that there's some crazy, like, what do they call it? Radiation.
Yeah, radiation. Right? The planes have to go around it because of the radiation.
Yeah, everybody goes around it like this, right? So there's definitely something interesting that happens up here. And all the fake flat earthers wanted everybody to go to the South Pole, was what they constantly wanted. And if you just flip it, you know, the North Pole is where the Northern Lights are. It's probably a place you want to check out as well. It says in the scriptures that the Father's throne is above the north. But what I want to point out also is that you absolutely can go around this landmass here down here that we call Antarctica. You can circle. Once you get to this point on the map, you come right out right here. You get you right out this point here, and you come down. This is the way that it was designed. And it's compassed by waters. The bounds were set by waters.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about a race around Antarctica is that if you're traveling west, you would constantly be having to turn left in order to continue to follow the shoreline. Right? If it was a big ice ring, you would have to constantly be turning right in order to not run into the ice wall. So the people that race around it, be it from the east to the west or the west to the east, they're turning on that inside circle around a much smaller landmass. It doesn't take they're not traveling 60,000 miles around the outside wall when they do that, and always turning towards the end. They are always turning towards the out in the shorter circle, and that is demonstrated and represented with a stereographic map. It is.
Yeah, 1 second. Keep talking. I'm just pulling up something else for evidence.
Yeah. So anything
Talking
going
about the
on in the chat? I've been in there a little bit. I've probably missed a bunch. We're going live right now talking about the sign that's coming up for December 5th. We also have this Friday. Now the next Sunday is December 5th, so we'll see what's going on then. And as we were talking about, just a little recap, December 7th is the 80-year anniversary of the faked Pearl Harbor event. It was a psyop. It's absolute BS. We've got the videos up. It's stupid. Anybody that believes that Pearl Harbor is real, or anybody that believes that D-Day or any of those things were real and not just Freemason theater, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. Watch the footage, the actual footage itself. You find what you're looking for, brother?
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull it up. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay.
It's just a video showing basically how the stars would sort of work. Well, actually, it's not even that important. I just wanted to show people the basics tonight. Was that Enoch told us the heights of the luminaries, the wandering ones, right? And we understand that we see them in the sky using the other stars to locate where they would be. And basically that was it. I just wanted to keep it simple tonight, as well as taking people to understanding the stereographic projection, how the rectangle actually would work. Is very important to get that point in too. But yeah, I'm going to unscreen share now. And thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed having a much easier going conversation with y'all. And Friday should be fun too. We'll see what happens. We're looking towards the eclipse, right?
We are, yeah.
Thumbnail on?
Yeah, it's up. Let me give you a screen share so that you can see what's going on. And so that's probably it for tonight. It's not the same as all the shill busting stuff, but we've done enough of that. I have a feeling that the shills, so Jaron went off to Rockfin. I checked up on him today and saw that he's not making anything. He's not getting the views. It's once you go paywall like that, the only people that are going to be following him are other shills. And so what's the point of that? What are they going to accomplish with that? So having run a guy like Jared off of YouTube, and we're working on guys like Alex Stein and David Weiss and all these other characters, we're not going to stop until they're all gone, until they're all absolutely gone. And go ahead.
But for tonight, I just want to send forth, healing light, calmness, peace. Everyone just try to wind down. Mm-hmm. It was nice to spend time together and not have to get into the whole Church of Satan, knowing that we are ready. We're always ready. But yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody we can relax, we can breathe, we can go to sleep tonight. We do have some very interesting things coming up in the skies and signs in the heavens. So we should be excited about that. We should never be in fear, because we will be resurrected again. No matter what, we'll be brought back. Okay, if you have a good heart and you want to see peace and righteousness, this is just the beginning. We're almost there.
Deep breaths, everyone. Where did you hear this?
Only on the Yahawahashai News Network.
Let's play a game, a circuit to your brain. Your soul online will turn back time and take away the pain. I shared a secret, you wanted more. succumb to the virus. There's no other way you'll survive this. Let's play a game. Humanity in chains, the faithful sect